Mr. Speaker, I rise today in support of H.R. 644, strongly condemning the slave auctions of migrants and refugees in Libya and for other purposes. In November 2017, CNN broke a story about modern-day slavery in Libya with a grainy video that shows an auctioneer standing in front of a group of young men shouting, "Big, strong boys for farm work, 400, 700, 800. The video left people shocked and sparked protest outside of Libyan embassies here in the U.S. and across Africa and Europe. In April 2017, the UN Migration Agency, the International Organization for Migration, gathered evidence and issued a warning about slave markets in Libya. While there were warning signs from various international organizations that migrants, refugees, and asylum seekers were suffering abuse, it took actual video evidence for the world to pay attention. Libya has become a primary transit hub for migrants and refugees attempting to reach southern Europe by sea, and various organizations estimate that there are between 400,000 and 1 million migrants and refugees in the country. Refugees and migrants are routinely subjected to grave human rights abuses committed by Libyan officials and security forces, as well as armed groups and criminal gangs, who are often working in close cooperation and to mutual financial advantage. How did we get here, and what is the solution to this crisis? Refugees and migrants in Libya are exposed to horrendous human rights violations in a country where institutions have been weakened by years of conflict and political division. The end of Gaddafi's regime in 2011 led to significant political turmoil and insecurity within Libya. Since then, there has been no effective government in place in the country. Today, 3 governments divided along geographical and ideological lines compete for power, each with limited control over parts of the country. The collapse of government and security institutions has made trafficking in refugees a lucrative business. This resolution condemns slave auctions and the exploitation of migrants and refugees as forced laborers in Libya. It also calls upon all parties to the conflict, including parties to the Libyan political agreement, to investigate and eradicate the slave auctions and to manage migration flows and migrant detention centers in a humane manner. I want to mention that the Congressional Black Caucus was at the head of this effort. We immediately called upon the Libyan ambassador to come to the Hill to explain what was happening in the country and how the government intended to respond. I have to say she was very open in stating that the country needs the help of the international community to address the crisis, and she explained to us that she was aware that there were parts of her country that basically were not governed by any of the 3 governments, and that they needed international assistance to manage this. The auctions expose the interconnected and complex nature of this crisis, and any solution to this problem will require a holistic and comprehensive strategy for Libya and the sending countries across Africa that promotes democratic governance, rule of law, respect for human rights, and creating economic opportunities. The United States must remain focused and continue to promote U.S. values at home and around the world. This includes speaking out publicly when we see human rights abuses. The bottom line is, slavery is a crime against humanity, and we cannot sit idly by while people around the world are exploited. So I join my colleagues on both sides of the aisle in support of this bipartisan resolution strongly condemning the slave auctions of migrants and refugees in Libya. And I want to thank Mr. Speaker, and I yield back the remainder of my time. Thank you.